This is Megan Hernandez, and I wanted to come live on YouTube because I wanted to share my experience with the VA regarding mental health and postpartum. So, I'm a new mom. Well, I don't know if we're considered new moms at almost a year, but it's definitely been an amazing experience. Um, Going and leaping into motherhood over the past year. So, just a little bit of background. I have a 90% rating with the VA in regards to my military service. So, the VA is Veterans Affairs, just in case you don't know. And up until last year, I was working for myself as an entrepreneur. I had a wonderful pregnancy. During my pregnancy, obviously, I had to pause my entrepreneurship work, about 90% of it, and enjoyed every moment of my pregnancy. It was wonderful. Now, some of the things that I have as a rating, some of the symptoms or illnesses or things that I'm working on, both with the VA and within myself, include PTSD, MST, anxiety, depression, and holy moly, after giving birth to my precious daughter, the anxiety and the depression and all sorts of other things were just magnified beyond belief. I am someone who thinks of myself as very independent, strong. I am a go getter. I initiate many projects and I'm super involved in my community, especially the veterans community. So, for this to happen to somebody like me was humbling to say the least, right? Um, well, the whole reason for this video is that when I asked for help from the VA, I was, led to believe that somebody would help me right away. I was led to believe that I would have a doctor or a mental health advocate or a therapist reach out to me ASAP, right? Um, that was last December 2024. We're in 2025. That was last December 2024. And we are now in September 2025. And I have yet to have a solid therapist from the VA hit me up, commit to me, and help me through my mental health journey, right? Um, I had to really lean into groups and resources around me to help me navigate this new territory that was just scary to navigate on my own, especially as a new mom. So, I would reach out to the VA over and over again through our e benefits. I would call them and email them. And mind you, throughout this whole time, I had my own therapist through the vet center. The vet center is affiliated with the VA, but they're a lot more private and they won't release information unless you give them permission to, unless you request that. So in January, when I did speak to somebody at the VA about getting seen, I was told, well, you have to get rid of your therapist in order for you to be seen here at the VA. Luckily, I didn't listen because, again, it's September 2025 and I still not have had a 1 hour um, meeting with the therapist that provides some kind of, you know, structure about how to move forward and how to cope with what was going on, right? So, um, because of that, I kind of already know how the VA is. They're slow and they're 20 years or more behind. So my I kept my current therapist and who I would see monthly. And I'm glad I did because if I didn't, if I would have listened to that person and not listened to my own intuition, my own knowing, because remember, we need to listen to ourselves first. We are the primary authority over ourselves. Just because somebody says they're the authority in the room, that doesn't make it the case, right? They may have a PhD or be an attorney or whatever, but if something is telling you that something's off, something's wrong, you need to go with your intuition. So luckily, I don't want to go off on tangents, but luckily, I kept my therapist that I've been having for the past few years before I went into Veterans Affairs to um, to get extra assistance with this specific severity of what was going on. And I see my current therapist with the vet center monthly. Again, it is now September 2025, so I would have had no therapist if I would have listened to, you know, Miss Know It All or Mr. Know It All from the VA. I would have had no therapist for 9 months. 9 months of postpartum depression. Come on, guys. Like, we can do better than that. We serve our country. We lay our lives on the line. We go through all the, you know, the things that we go through after our service, oftentimes alone. So for us to garner all the strength, all the confidence, everything that we need to say, hey, I need help, and then fall through the cracks, that's some BS. That is some BS. And this week, somebody at the VA called me. Apparently, this other department that is separate from the department I was contacting, whatever, and says, hey, I got your folder on my desk. It seems to be an important folder. I see that you have been struggling this whole time. I see that you have been needing assistance the whole time and nobody's assisted you. What the hell? I would be mad if I were you. And let me tell you, yes, I'm mad. I'm pissed. Because if this is happening to somebody like me, who is persistent, who is on their butts for everything that I need, everything that I, you know, all the resources, if they're doing that to me, imagine all the veterans that are going through similar things, not postpartum, but sure, postpartum as well. Um, for our female women warriors, imagine all the veterans that are falling through the cracks. This is 2025. Apparently, the VA has had a reform, and this is it, guys. This is the reform. I'm 90% disabled through the VA. And I still have not had a therapist committed to helping me recover from postpartum. 22 veterans die a day. And I know the statistics are a little different, the actual statistics. It could be a little bit less, a little bit more. Regardless, we're letting veterans fall through the cracks, and it's not okay. It's been 10 minutes, y'all. I don't want to keep you here, but I'll say one more thing. I asked the VA for a hormonal panel to be done so I can see where my hormones are at, so I can also figure out the root of the problem. It was denied in my face. Denied. Again, for those that are coming in late, postpartum depression, anxiety attacks that last sometimes days. I've never had an anxiety attack before in my life. In fact, I used to think none of that was real. You know, me being paramilitary, I was very ignorant of people that said they had migraines, of people that said they had anxiety attacks. There's no such thing. Also, being Latina, we grew up thinking there's no such thing as allergies either, right? Now I have allergies. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that the hormonal panel was denied. I know something's wrong. I went outside of the VA and requested a hormonal panel. Guess what? Oh, I have outlets. I'm at the gym all the time. I'm with other mommy groups, circles. I'm part of the American Legion Pacific Palisades, part of LULAC, a Latino organization that advocates on civil rights. It's something else, and I believe it's hormonal. So when I went to the doctor out of the VA, my hormonal panel came back, and guess what it said? PCOS, testosterone. Mind you, I had a PCOS testing last year with the VA because I had a feeling that, not just a feeling, of course I did research on my symptoms and saw overlaps, right? So I had a feeling that these things were going on, but the testing came back negative, apparently. I never saw a hormonal panel done. I never saw blood tests. I'm not sure what kind of test they did. But the hormonal panel outside of the VA came back with these things. So now we are going to go back and start from square one and get the ultrasounds, do a little bit of more blood tests that I may need, and try to figure out what's going on. Because at the end of the day, it's really up to you to grab the reins and advocate for yourself, advocate for your own health. When you know there's something else happening and they're telling you, you know, I'm sorry, but we can't help you, they deny your medical requests, it's time for you to step up and do something about it. So I just want you guys to know that, you know, just because somebody tells you no, it doesn't mean that that's the end of the road. You go to somebody that tells you yes. You go to, you know, you don't have to, you can ask for a second doctor, a second opinion. You can go outside of your traditional healthcare system and get your questions answered. So anyways, y'all, I just wanted to share with you my experience over the past year with the VA. For those of you that came in a little bit later, with the VA, as a first-time mom, as somebody that's going through postpartum, that has taken advantage of her resources, not only at the VA, but outside of the VA, that has healthy outlets, that does yoga, the gym, journaling, the whole enchilada, right? So, I wanted to share with you about that because there are veterans every day falling through the cracks, and we need to do something about it. So, this was my first live. I've been wanting to share this with you with YouTube for a very long time, for over a year. And thank you for those of you that gave me some grace with sharing this because it's a lot of information. It's a lot to digest. And I hope you guys have, I hope nothing but health and love for you if you're going through the same thing. Especially you veterans out there. There are a lot of organizations, there are a lot of advocates, but you have to be your number one advocate. All right, guys. Thanks. Now, how do I turn this off?
I don't know.
I don't know. Can someone help me turn it off?
Why is this over here?
Oh, maybe this. Yes. Bye.